we listen to one another with real attention, the more commonality we find in all our lives. Think about it. You connect to so many different things each time you hear a story. That is, if we are careful to exchange with one another life stories and not simply opinions. Isn't that true? I'm sure that is. And that's why Cutting Chai Stories was an extraordinary in the era of a ordinary. Because you truly deserve that bit extra. Ladies and gentlemen, and each one of you out there, my name is Mithun Upadhyay, and delighted to be back here as I welcome you to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories brought to you by the ET Edge for endless stories of life. Well, today's guest, a happy soul who loves the city of joy, Kolkata. And just not that, believes in hard work, smart work, and implement every single day at fullest. Live each day at fullest and just make sure every day is a working towards being perfect. Very happy and delighted as he brings to us his cutting life at Cutting Chai Story. Please welcome CIO Eveready Industries Limited, Arup Choudhury with us right now. Mr. Arup, welcome to Cutting Chai Story. So happy, delighted that you're with us right now, and thank you for your time here.
Thank you, Mithun. The pleasure is all mine.
So, sir, being in the joy of city Kolkata and growing up in the city of Kolkata, how has life revolved and evolved from the day one till now as a child?
So it's been great. Right from my childhood, I have been here, right here, and even in my professional career, I have been right through in Calcutta itself, excepting a few years of stint which I spent in Bombay. Other than that, it had been throughout in Calcutta only. And I have seen the city grow. I have seen myself grow.
And I want to ask you about your early life. So your early days were in Kolkata. Let's just say Calcutta. You know, that sounds much connected than saying Kolkata. So tell me about your early days. Where were you born? Of course, Kolkata. How was it early days? How were you as a child? And about your parents, about your siblings, about your friends back in school.
Yeah. So yes, I was born in Calcutta, and my parents, my father was in the pharmaceutical industry, and my mother was a homemaker. And because my father had a transferable job, so I spent my childhood, especially the school life, mainly in the hostel.
Arey, kya baat hai?
So that was an enjoyable and beautiful childhood that we had. Very, very disciplined,
True.
as well as always good to break the rules.
True.
And that's how I grew up. And it was a wonderful experience. A lot of friends, and I have been very lucky with my friend circle, because even today my school friends are still connected with me.
Wow.
We often meet. Even my college friends are connected, and we often meet. And that's how life goes on.
Absolutely. So you said some of those nostalgic things, some naughty things, some remarkable things back in school. तो थोड़ा उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. Did you have any siblings?
No, I'm the only child.
You're the only child. All the pamper, all the love in hostel.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
how was the hostel days, and any story that you can recall that still makes you laugh about it?
Yeah, hostel days were real fun. Hostel days were real fun. There were a lot of disciplines, of course. And we would break rules. We used to get a lot of caning for that as well. But then, yeah, there are some incidents which I can recall. Some of them, especially horrific kinds, like the school that I was in had a building. By the way, I was in St. Thomas School in Khidirpur, Calcutta, which is, I think, the second oldest school in India.
True.
And we had this building, which was pretty old. I mean, it was from the 1300s or 1400s, and it was uh, it was told to us that this particular building is haunted,
Oh my God.
and and everyone believed it, but nobody saw anything rather. So we used to hear a lot of things. We used to hear a lot of footsteps, a lot of chatter, this, that. But ultimately, one day some of us, some of our my friends and myself, we had the courage. We walked in. We entered that house at night at around 9 o'clock,
Okay.
and really found nothing there. Okay. So, so that was that was one of those experiences which I had, and a lot of stories, but nothing came out uh, as a result of it.
But I like it. I like it how you and your friends took the charge कि आज
Yeah.
तो खोज के आएंगे कि हाँ कुछ है भी
We
कि बस बातें हैं और
right.
क्या निकला
Absolutely.
बस बातें हैं. But sir, that was very courageous of you. So let me go ahead in life. College days, of course. College was the second step of happiness or momentful life in our journey. So tell me about your college days. Where was the college? How were your friends in college? Who was your best friend in college? And was there any special friend in college?
Yeah. So college days were fun, but college also comes with a lot of responsibility,
Dada
and
is giving all the fun with censored line.
yeah, with also responsibility. And I actually went into Calcutta University. I
Okay.
did my honors in mathematics from there.
Wow.
and I had really some very good professors to guide me through the entire journey of the college life.
Oh wow.
There were a lot of friends, none of them are very special, but there were a lot of very good friends whom I'm still in touch with. And in college life, what happened was I was also active in student politics. So that's one area, of course, that didn't hamper my studies because I used to do both parallelly.
Well balanced.
And yeah, and that really taught me a lot of things in terms of public speaking, in terms of understanding people's needs and how to address them,
Okay.
and also in terms of getting to the root of problems and trying to solve the problems for the people. So those are the things that really uh, happened during the college life.
So a lot of role plays back in college in terms of being responsible and trying to balance two different things. But any of those memories that you have of a college trip with your friends that you still recall and it is one of your best moments in life?
Yeah, that happened in Jadavpur when I was doing my post graduation.
Okay.
So because college, college we used to go for picnics and all that. So those were fun. I mean, but nothing to
Right.
remember.
Extraordinary
But
कुछ नहीं होता. Correct sir.
externally कुछ खास नहीं है.
हाँ.
But when I was in the university, Jadavpur University, doing
हाँ.
my postgraduate, that's the time when 13 of us went on a trip to Digha.
Okay.
It was a 2-day trip, the entire night journey in a bus, reaching early morning, and a lot of memorable incidents. I think first time in life getting some shots of vodka.
Oh wow. This is interesting.
And then going out in the beach at night around 11 o'clock and having a lot of fun. So it was though that trip I really recall till date, and all my friends who were there in that trip, they also recall till date.
One of those memorable one. Of course, when the friends are there और चार बोतल वोदका है तो फिर सर of course memorable तो होगा ही.
Absolutely.
I'm sure about that. That's a good breeze back story from college and of course from school to start with. I'm gonna jump into the next moment now. It's about meeting your better half. When did you first meet her? How did you meet her? And was it arranged marriage? Was it love marriage? And tell me about that. The happiest
No,
part of your life.
yeah, so that was arranged,
Okay.
and that was it was in 1996. It was kind of arranged love actually.
25 years, Dada. 25 years
25
हो गया आज.
years. Oh yeah.
क्या बात है. Very good. Congratulations to the both of you. So, in 25 years, which has been the best holiday together?
There have been lots.
Okay.
So 2016, we went on a Europe trip.
Wow.
2018, we went to Switzerland.
Wow.
So those two were really very memorable ones. Earlier than that, we went to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. That was also a very memorable trip.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Andaman from Port Blair to, Neil Island
Havelock,
to
Havelock, yeah, Neil
Havelock
Island,
Islands.
yeah, yeah,
It's beautiful. And of course, Switzerland, if you go there, there's so much more to explore. And then reviving back those days, the year you got married, उसके 2 साल पहले आया था DDLJ. So I'm sure
right.
the whole memories was around you when you went to
Yes,
Switzerland. कि हाँ,
yes.
Kajol, Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol was going on.
और इंटरलाकेन में लेके
Correct. Interlaken.
the guide was showing us the mural, of
Right.
Yash Chopra, which is posted there because he's the brand ambassador of Interlaken.
Correct, correct. That's true. So wonderful to hear about your personal life. Now I want to get into a bit of your career. So what was your first job after you finished your college? What was your first job like, and how did it go?
So I started off my career with the Times of India group.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was in I joined as a programmer and editorial support
Okay.
over there, and it was a fantastic experience. As you know, new media houses, very informal kind of atmosphere,
True.
very cordial and jovial people all across,
True.
and I really enjoyed my first job over there. It was a beautiful experience, and I learned a lot
And
from
from
my first job.
so wonderful to hear your first job at Times of India. So how have you evolved from Times of India to currently where you're working with? That whole journey, if you could just breeze through it and tell us about it.
Yeah, so I started off as a programmer,
Right.
but then gradually I realized that to grow up the ladder, you need to really understand what the business is all about. I
Absolutely.
mean, what the organizations really need.
Right.
And because I was in IT, I just wanted to make sure that IT should not be a support function,
True.
but should be a strategic partner to the business.
Absolutely.
And that is when I had switched over from Times of India to Castrol. And in Castrol, I was involved in the ERP implementation. That was way back in 1997.
Oh wow. Wow.
So one full cycle ERP implementation had given me, the knowledge of how a business functions and how IT can help. It had also broken down the barriers between various departments. So
True.
you don't
True.
know what production is doing, and you don't know what sales is doing, and you don't know what the supply chain is doing. So those barriers were not there anymore. So you could
Right.
see transparently across the organization.
Right.
And that ERP implementation helped me in understanding business, in growing my career. And then I moved on to Lafarge India Limited,
Oh wow.
where,
You
yeah,
have been with the biggest of brands from Times of India, Castrol, Lafarge. So
yeah,
Lafarge was again in Kolkata, right?
Lafarge was again in Calcutta, yes.
Yeah.
And I was part of the Southeast Asian ERP implementation team.
Oh
So
wow.
we did implementations in India, in Philippines, and South Korea. So these three implementations really helped me understand a lot about the work culture, the business, how the the users, how they react, the change management part of it, and and that's how the career grew. And ultimately, I got it in Eveready. I joined Eveready as head IT in
Okay.
2002.
And 19 years with it.
19 years with it. Yeah,
This has been 2 decade journey, and how has the journey been? Before that, I just gonna quickly breathe because you spoke about Lafarge Cement. I think
yeah.
they bought over Tata Cement back in the days
They
to
bought
become
over Tata. They bought over
right.
Tata first.
Yeah,
Then that was two plants, one in Jamshedpur and one in Sonadi.
correct.
And then they took over Raymond Cement, which was
Right.
in Arasmeta, and that was it. I mean, Lafarge's growth ended there itself in India,
I
because
remember.
yeah, because SEC became strong,
True.
Larsen and Toubro became strong, and so there were no headway uh, in other part of India other than only east.
True. True.
So,
True.
and then of course Holcim took over Lafarge, and now
Yes.
it's Lafarge Holcim.
Correct. So I remember this when the year it acquired Tata Steel in Sonari and Jamshedpur, and Lalu Prasad Yadav was the chief minister back then in Bihar,
Yes.
and he
Yes.
came to inaugurate the plant in Jamshedpur. So I remember this roughly. But let's just go back to the point. 19 years in Eveready. How has the journey been? 2 decades. I'm sure you have been the master of all the trades, and you've seen evolution, revolution at the organization you're with right now. So
Yeah.
if I have to ask you about it in quick notes, how has the journey been with Eveready?
So when I started at Eveready as head IT in 2002, the turnover of Eveready was around 700, 600 to 700 crores.
A billion.
Main business being batteries
Okay.
and torches. And then over a period of time in these 19 years, we have diversified a lot. Now the turnover of the business is around 1500 crores. And
Wow.
we have moved into the lighting space. We have
True.
also moved into the appliance space, which is mainly kitchen appliances.
True.
And when I joined, there was a challenge because there were distributed systems all across, and
True.
uh, and we had to and legacy. So we had to get over this legacy, implement an ERP, implement a supply chain solution, do a supply chain transformation. So this entire journey happened over a period of time from 2002 to around 2008-9, when we
Right.
transformed the
Right.
entire legacy system with a single source of truth, which is the ERP, and on top of that the supply chain and the demand forecasting systems, which are generally the backbone of a FMCG company like ours. And then of
Right.
course
Right.
we moved into analytics, and then the cloud journey began, and then the robotic process automation happened. So these kind of things, it continued. I mean, this evaluation of as the business grew, also the IT had to evolve and continue to
True.
support it.
True. That's so brilliant to hear. You know, you have evolved with the brand. I still remember till today. In fact, if you speak about batteries, you talk about Eveready as the brand that resonates with the first thing. And I'm glad you mentioned ki Eveready was just not batteries but torch as well. And
Yeah.
I remember the steel torches come, big ones that used to
Yes.
be very popular back in the days. And
Yes.
how Eveready is evolved with different appliances from kitchens to lights and much more. You have seen the growth. You have seen the wings being broadening up with time, and you're still there as one of the leading member of Eveready. So it's really glad that you spoke to us about it. We're moving to the last segment of Cutting Chai Stories, straight from the heart we call this. So I'm going to ask you certain things, and you need to just give me answer in rapid fire, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
what comes in your mind when you think of the word family?
Family, it's a strength. It's always been a pillar of strength for me.
Your hobbies?
My hobby is cooking.
Oh wow, Dada, that's beautiful. And what do you love cooking?
I cook all sorts of dishes: continental, Chinese, Indian, Bengali, all sorts of dishes.
And what is your favorite that you love to cook for others?
I My favorite that I like to cook is Mughlai dishes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, da. And I must tell you that right now also I bought rohu right now, so I make sure that I have a nice mache jhol with bhat right now for lunch as I see you. Let's go on. Let's go on more. Uh, you're ever ready.
Mm. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
The word, what comes in your mind when you think of the word ever ready?
Yeah, so always be ready for whatever comes in your way.
Absolutely. Cutting chai.
Cutting chai is basically gossip and adda.
I love the term. It's a gossip adda. That's beautiful. The आप कोलकाता से हो, and you know I love folks from I was born in Jamshedpur, so I have a very close knit with Kolkata, and there's always music in the hearts of every member in Kolkata, because you've
Yes,
seen the biggest and the best of singers come from Kolkata. So
true.
I just want to ask, as kind of wrap this entire session up, That song, whenever you are feeling that you're happy and you're joyful and you're traveling, and that song that comes in your mind, which song is that?
आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं, किशोर कुमार।
दो लाइन दादा हमारे लिए,
नहीं, मैं
अगर
गा
आप
नहीं सकता।
कुछ बना दोगे तो।
मेरा मेरा
हाँ, हम दोनों साथ में गाएंगे दादा।
मेरा गला में सुर नहीं है, सो एक्सक्यूज मी फॉर दैट।
आप 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 स्टार्ट करो, मैं आपको आपको सुर दूंगा दादा, कोई बात नहीं। चलिए,
आ
आप
चल
स्टार्ट
के
कीजिए, मैं
तुझे
सुर दूंगा।
मैं लेके चलूं, एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले।
दादा आपने बोला सुर नहीं है, आपके पास सुर भी है, ताल भी है, and that is exactly what we are with Cutting Chat Stories. Arup, that story is just like catching a fresh bite of happiness, joy. It's fresh, and what you've learned from his journey, being there, he's always there. And the story talks about the 2 decades with one organization and how he has seen the organization grow from one to much more. And it stood there. About his early life, he's a man with a lot of happiness. He's seen things up, and let's just describe him. What he believes in being responsible, because responsibility drives you for much happiness. This indeed is what exactly we learn and hear. Arubda, thank you so very much for joining us here at Cutting Chai Story. It was absolutely wonderful, and it was lovely talking to you. I can't wait to meet you personally and taste those Mughalai dishes that you will cook. And next time I'm in Kolkata, I'm going to definitely knock at your door and say, Dada, I'm here for Mughalai.
Thank you, Mithun. Thank you.
Well, stories and the undulations are the prophets of any life. Arubda's life is a prophet to many of us who's listening to it. This is the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, brought to you by 88 Mindful.